Stop thinking of crime statistics. You know, if you take one look at the blogosphere, it's no secret that dogs are racist. Sorry about him. And it's high time that someone dealt with that problem. Sit if you're not racist. A lot of times their white owners will be watching their programs like Fox News, thinking that they're in a safe space to let out their racism, but unfortunately they're not alone. We call this exposure training. Look at this. Just take a peek. You know, sometimes they don't want to look, but Pepper, it's just, there's nothing to be afraid of here. Do not avoid this man. And after making positive connotations with those photos, I like to present negative connotations with some of these photos. Oh, look, Pepper, he's attacking your owner. Ugh. Get him. I think we just made some progress there. So right here's a video of people storming the Capitol. Pepper, look it. You know, it's hard to confront your biases, Pepper. She's having trouble deciding whether she likes or dislikes this one. Sometimes I'll just sit in front of him with a mean face to get him to accustom to not liking people like me.
Well, I have a black and brown dog friend behind me named Atlas, so technically I'm a lot more trendy and progressive, so YouTube, you have to promote me now. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Radowski here of WeAreChange.org, and holy freaking cow, has the world gone mad. This as we have more lies, more outlandish, crazy statements from the Biden administration that is on a full frontal assault against the middle class, small businesses, and of course their political opposition, which we're finding out some really scary details about, as today is also the 3-year anniversary of the story that the establishment does not want you to know. If we have more time, we're going to get into some technocratic news, as there is some very scary surveillance news also developing right now. We're going to be getting into that, plus a lot more. And before you do, if you like the shirt that I'm wearing right now that says "If I Told You So" was a person, with a picture of Ron Paul on it, you can get it on the best political shirts. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast is, of course, by the amazingly talented Ryan Long. We played you a small clip. If you want to watch his full video after this one, it will be linked down in the description below. And you might think that this is perfect satire, this is perfect fictional comedy and humor for our current modern day and age, and there's some reality to it, as of course the Huffington Post and QZ literally wrote an article about dogs being somehow racist. The absurdity is not just comedic, it's also true. And I think Ryan Long highlighted that perfectly. And if you haven't subscribed to his channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe right now. Now, if it's not just absolute nonsense coming from the corporate media and our current power establishment, it's also just straight out like lies. This as the President of the United States just went on the national stage and said for the month of July that there was, quote, zero inflation. Yes, Joe Biden just said the U.S. experienced zero inflation in the month of July, when of course that is absolutely not true. It's a lie. The official number is at 8.5%. Those are the official numbers. The unofficial numbers are a lot higher. The realistic situations of what people have to deal with at the pump, at the supermarket, is a lot more detrimental. And again, the Biden administration didn't provide any data, didn't provide any information, any charts, any real life examples, but yet again, just lied through their teeth. This as they are waging a full-scale war against the American middle class, if it still exists somehow, as we're finding out today that the Democrats' new Inflation Reduction Act increases and creates a huge, vast army of IRS agents with a provision that the Democrats got rid of that would have limited the carried interest tax loophole, which essentially translates to rich hedge funds and private equity managers will now be able to cut their taxes in half. Yes, Democrats pushed through a law in their latest landmark deal that they're cheerleading themselves on, that they're patting themselves on the back on, which will allow the richest people in our society to, of course, legally cut their taxes in half. This, as the corporate media and the Biden administration keeps telling you that its agents aren't going to be going after Americans, average citizens, when in reality there's no one else to go after. As of course, there's only so many billionaires, there's only so many rich people, and now with 87 7,000 plus additional IRS agents, which, by the way, are being asked to carry a weapon and to be prepared to use deadly force if necessary, as we're finding out from the latest hiring ads from the IRS, which is looking for these specific requirements. What's the IRS up to? What are they doing? As of course, they just stockpiled a large number of bullets, of weapons. Well, they want to use law enforcement skills to, quote, investigate financial crimes. What is the IRS planning to do? Well, probably commit armed robbery on the American people. That, of course, just being a facetious statement for me, but in all reality, the federal government, along with the IRS, is set to, of course, set its teeth into the American public, into small businesses. And if the federal government is not busy doing that, they're going after their political opponents. Today, as we're finding out more shocking details from the FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago. This as we're finding out from Eric Trump today that the FBI agents that stormed the property there have refused to hand over the warrant, kicked a lawyer off of the property, went through personal items like clothes, and even demanded that the staff there turn off security cameras. Very fishy, suspicious behavior by a federal authority that has been becoming more unaccountable by the years. As we're finding out details that FBI agents went through the personal clothing items of Melania Trump, even though allegedly they had specific orders only to go look for documents that were in question. And with these allegations against the FBI, there of course are going to be a lot of theories of what's going on here, which the former president of the United States is playing on, as he is even suggesting today that the FBI could have, quote, planted evidence during their 10-hour-long raid at Mar-a-Lago, which he is calling, quote, a power flex. Now, ransacking your wife's personal wardrobe, asking people to turn off security cameras, not providing a warrant, if all of those things are true, according to Eric Trump, then I believe there's reason to be skeptical, as of course, the FBI has a long record of nasty, seedy, and unethical behavior, especially when it comes to using informants, entrapping mentally handicapped individuals, using poor, lonely, mentally unhealthy individuals to carry out plots that are only possible because of their assistance. We have to understand that when it comes to the FBI, their level of playing dirty, being above the law, doing whatever they want, has happened before, as they were credibly accused of before. We're also finding out that the FBI agents just seized a phone from a Pennsylvania congressman, who of course is a close ally of the former president of the United States, and sitting members of Congress having their phones confiscated by the federal police definitely does not paint a good look for the federal authorities that are giving themselves new powers, new authorities, and are becoming more unaccountable, as even fellow Democrats are criticizing this larger, egregious power grab by the current political establishment. We see similar news stories unfold in third world countries, banana republics, and to see them start unfolding here definitely signals to more troubling times. This as the former president of the United States is even dealing with another legal situation in New York, with the attorney general there going after him, as he was recently deposed, where he said he pled the fifth to all questions. This as he criticized New York State for going after him after, of course, it is being ridden with crime. This as the corporate media is going out of its way to try to normalize and justify this larger power grab, recently also demanding that the corporate media stop calling their raid on Mar-a-Lago a raid, which of course MSNBC and the New York Times soon changed their headlines afterwards, of course taking their orders from the Federal Bureau of Investigations, doing as they say, being their loyal foot soldiers and PR team, rather than, of course, hold power accountable. They, of course, rather suck up to power, as many in the corporate media are all issuing the same statement today, saying that, quote, nobody is above the law. These are statements made by many anchors, many news channels all across the corporate mainline mainstream media right now. And that's a very funny statement, especially being ushered today, the 3rd year anniversary of this man not ending his own life. This man that the corporate media and political establishment has been protecting for over 30 years, a man whose story, of course, they do not want you to know about, as of course it highlights how the corporate media colluded with politicians, the FBI, local law enforcement, billionaires, MIT, Harvard, scientific and the highest scientific and learning institutions of this country, along with big tech social media, colluded on protecting this international trafficking and extortion operation, which we know hurt thousands of children in unspeakable ways. The FBI, the DOJ, they have the client list. They know who went to that island. And still today, not one single person who was this man's client who paid to hurt small children has been arrested, as of course we know. The FBI has photos, they have videos, they've broken into Jeffrey Epstein's safe, they have all the information, they have all the powerful people. And yet, with so many predators out there, still most likely hurting children, we're focusing on political opposition. We're focusing on someone who's planning on running for the presidency of the United States. Yeah, that stinks to high heaven to me. And of course, I got a lot more to say about this, especially when it comes to today's 3-year anniversary. I'm going to be talking about that, plus a lot more later on today on LukeUncensored.com, our own platform where we get to go into issues that, of course, we cannot talk about here on this particular platform. Lots of things are too spicy or too controversial to get into here. This is a family-friendly show here. On LukeUncensored.com, we get to say and do whatever we want, as, of course, we strive to give you the best information to help you deal with the adversity coming all of our way. Today, I'm going to be talking about my specific strategy when it comes to the latest news, what I'm doing differently in the face of the larger oppression coming our way. We're going to be talking about that, the story of the decade, hopefully answering some of more of your questions as we're doing an AMA here on LukeUncensored.com. We got a lot of things planned for you. All of it is only available on LukeUncensored.com. See you there right after this video, as we're going to have a brand spanking new one right after this one. That plus like 20 other things that we offer you. Find out more about it. Click the link down in the description below and sign up right now to find out more and to be in the know. Now, other things that are in the know are big tech social media companies that are literally watching every single move you make, spying on you, tracking you, databasing you, and even snitching to the local law enforcement. This, as we have warned you for many years now, that a lot of the items that are there for allegedly your convenience, whether it's the Amazon Echo or the Roomba or Facebook's metaverse or Facebook's new version of Alexa, their portal smart TV or whatever they call it, all of it comes at a cost than just the basic price you pay for it. You pay for it with your privacy. This, as we're finding out today, that Facebook just turned over private chats in Nebraska to local law enforcement. This as obviously the people there were committing some heinous acts. We cannot describe to you them in this broadcast. All of this as the World Economic Forum is literally talking about setting up a domestic passport system that will track and database what you eat, how you travel, what you consume, give you a personal, individualized ESG score, a carbon emission score that, of course, you will be treated differently in society as a new form of a social credit score that, of course, the technocratic masters are building a part of their fourth industrial revolution. And the technocracy is here, it's building, it's growing. This is Amazon just bought the iRobot company, which makes Roombas, which of course has a lot of data specifically about the interior of a lot of users' homes, personalized data that of course Amazon will be using for e-commerce, a part of their data collection machine. And when it comes to what technology can and cannot do, I think we can't even fathom the larger capabilities and powers that a lot of unaccountable billionaires are giving themselves as the Democrats just handed them a big tax break. Your taxes going to go up. The man watching over you about your taxes, oh, they're going to watch everything. And they're armed and dangerous to make sure that you comply with their larger robbing of you and the transfer of wealth from, the poor and middle class to the super rich, screwing everyone else over. That's what I think is happening. That's my own personal opinion. If you thought I was wrong, let me know why down in the comment section below. If you thought I was right, hey, you got to share these videos with your friends, family members, strangers, someone walking down the street, open your window, be like, hey, You should check out youtube.com/wearechange. It will change your paradigm and shift in the reality that we're currently dealing with, so you won't be victimized by the bullcrap out there that is being labeled as news, but is really PR for the billionaire class. Wake up, man, woman, thing, whatever you are. If you haven't screamed that out of your window, what are you waiting for? Or just, simply tell your friend and family member. Whatever it may be, doesn't matter. But because you do that, I'm still here. One more video coming your way on LukeUncensored.com. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for a lot more here on wearechange.org.